Happy World Vegan Day!
Happy World Vegan Day, you guys!
Oh, it's so wonderful to see you all here for the very last day of the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle.
Last day.
The last day. There's less than 24 hours to grab the bundle. So if you want to support any of us, you can grab the link is in our bios to get that. We've got Chris, special guest.
Oh,
with
man.
Camilla. So let's add. This is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's wait for them to get in.
Hey guys!
Yay!
Good.
How's it going?
Happy World Vegan Day!
Happy World Vegan Day! I'm sorry I'm so low. You know what? I have my blue glare glasses going on, trying to help my brain.
Nice.
With all this glare after the last 12 days of the launch, it's like I should have been using these the whole time. What am I doing?
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Smart.
I'm feeling ya. Definitely.
Yeah.
Emery, what's up?
Emery! Oh, my cousin's in here, and today is the day he went vegan 1 year ago.
Right, today's his 1
nice.
year anniversary.
Yeah.
Good job, Emery.
That's
Oh
awesome.
man. Yeah,
You
blue
know
block.
you know what? They feel weird. They're hurting my head.
Oh, are they?
Like the pressure.
No, just I think they're a little dirty, and I'm just not used to them. It just feels funny. I don't know.
Oh man. I wanted to invest on a pair of those too, because I know last night, like I'm on my phone trying to like do some stories. My eyes are just like hurting.
Yeah, no, absolutely, mine too. And just it makes it a little harder to get to sleep. And have you guys ever had the experience where you're on your phone with your hand, and then your whole side of your hand starts to go numb from just holding your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what I've been getting a little bit lately.
Oh man.
I apologize. I'm going to be the only one here. Camilla forgot about a physio appointment that she had to go to, and couldn't really. Yeah, so it's just little knee.
Now,
knee.
We love you.
now you're saying physio,
Love you
like physiotherapy from your guys' accident?
Yeah, she's still going and still waiting for surgery. We're both actually waiting for surgery to get some hardware taken out of the ankle. It's more problematic for her, but I figure it'll probably be helpful for me as well.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. I myself had some hardware in my wrist, a titanium plate with 10 screws, and I didn't want to like go back in and have them take it out because, you know, you've already been through the whole process, but I'm like, I don't want this metal in my body either. So, and then of course I'm like, can I keep it? I'm like, can you package it up? I want to keep it. And they did. They let me. They sterilized it. Yeah. So ask them. I'm like, hey, I paid $10,000 for that titanium plate and those screws. Yeah, I want them.
Maybe it's different in the States, I guess, because I asked for every single one that I've had taken out, and they've said no. But it is also healthcare, so I didn't pay money. So
I see.
So maybe they have some different rules. But I wanted that stuff out too, and I've had a few surgeries in my past where I've always asked for stuff, and they're like, nope, we can't do that. We can't do that. But,
bummer deal. They're like, we got to reuse it on someone else. We'll sterilize it. Don't worry. It goes through the autoclave.
Yeah, I guess titanium, it probably ain't super cheap, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally.
It was cool because all the screws were different colors.
Really?
They kind of like anodized looking, you know, like yellow and green and purple and red. And yeah, because there was different sizes, different thickness. So I think, you know, each one, you know, depending on what it is, the size or length or whatever was. And another thing I liked about it was, you know, of course, they weren't Phillips head screws.
You hope not, hey? Yeah. What were they, though? Were they Allen key, or were they like a special?
Allen key.
Yep, they were Allen key. Yeah. I think actually a couple of them were like the Star. You know, the Star. Yeah, but most of them were Allen. I'll have to like pull it out. I've got him somewhere. I don't remember where I put them. I used to keep them in my axe tray. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's funny. Like within skateboarding, you know, a lot of places they put these special caps on rails or ledges so you can't skateboard on them. And then they have special screws that have like really weird, obscure shapes, or like even like 3 prongs or stuff that like you need a special tool to pop them off, right?
Right.
Or just a hammer, but a little bit different with what's in your body, I'm guessing. But yeah, I've had some funny experiences with stuff like that. But the waiting list is really long, and I guess, I mean, realistically, Even though with Camilla it is a little bit troublesome. It seems like one of the screws might be kind of out, like a little further than it should be, and rubbing on some stuff possibly and causing some pain.
Yeah.
But it's still considered low priority, and the whole healthcare system almost everywhere is backed up, right? So been waiting on a list for over a year and a half, and they're saying they don't have a time yet. So
gotcha.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah, that's painful. That's painful. I was just wondering too about you guys. Last night, I can't remember if I think it was just kind of like a dream in passing. And then I woke up and I was thinking I need to ask them how they're doing, because man, I mean, what a traumatic experience you guys went through with that.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. And I mean, it's been 3 years in the past. So, this year was the first year that on the anniversary, we didn't really want to bring it up or make that part of our current story. It's in the past and, and, we've grown a lot through it, and there's still some stuff, of course, but for the most part, I mean, I feel blessed overall, except for the biggest thing is the continuing pain that Camilla's experiencing. That's the only thing I definitely don't feel blessed by. But I mean, it's definitely brought us a lot closer together. Who knows what would have happened without that? And for myself, it's actually helped me improve my back, just because I got more into functional fitness and weightlifting, which actually improved an old fractured back injury. But yeah, it's been pretty crazy, and it seems like a lifetime ago, and it just seems like last year. But
yeah, I know. Isn't that interesting how time is? Time is so strange. We were talking how I've already been in the U.S. for over 2 years now, and I'm like,
has it
really?
been that long? I thought it was. I thought it was just over a year. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's been 2 years and 2 months almost. I know. I'm like,
that's
where did that time go?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you guys, do you still have a motorcycle? Are you guys gonna still ride, or?
No, it was after the accident. This is kind of funny a little bit. After the accident, I've actually been on a motorcycle since, but the only reason was, I think it was the early the next spring, a friend of mine texted me, and he was like, hey, I'm selling my motorcycle because I'm moving to Peru, and I just need to get rid of it really quick. He's like, actually, here, just if you come pick it up, you can have it, and so my mom and dad were away on vacation, and Camilla she would have been back here, or I'm plugging that right now. But anyways, I went to his house, and I got a friend to boost it, and then I drove it home, and it was a really cold day, and I parked it in my front yard and put a tarp over it, and I put a little Post-it note on it that said, please do not touch. And the reason there being, and this is kind of a silly story, but to shorten it, when I was probably 10 or 11 years old, I convinced my family to let me get a Zippo lighter, and I just said it was just for tricks, but really I was smoking cigarettes. And so they let me get the Zippo lighter, and I'd be like, yeah, look at all these tricks, and I'd be doing tricks. But then I also had some lighter fluid that I used to put in there, and I wasn't supposed to have that. So I had this lighter fluid in this cookie jar on my shelf, and then in front of the cookie jar I had a string of tape that at the bottom says, please do not touch. But the thing is, along the string of tape, I had a whole bunch of firecrackers taped to the back. And that was what the sign was for. But one day my mom went in there, and she saw the sign and thought it meant for the cookie jar. So opened it up, saw my lighter fluid. I got busted. They found out I smoked. And it was it's still a running family joke. Please don't touch. Wow, you're so smart. What a dummy, right? So I put the please do not touch on the motorbike to try and make it a little bit funny or soften it, because I knew my mom, she is not stoked on motorcycles anymore at all, right? They thought I died. And when they got back from the vacation, I honestly have never seen my mom that mad in my life. She was vibrating. She's like, what the hell is that in there? I don't care if God himself gave it to you. It's out of here. You're not living here. God himself. So mad. Yeah, just vibrating.
Gosh. You're right? Well, God actually did give it to me.
Yeah, it is. I'm not riding it. I'm not riding it. I'm selling it for a friend. And she's like, I don't care. It's out of here. I sold it pretty quick, and then I hooked my friend up with some cash, of course, too. But yeah, it is. Yeah,
so that's it. The riding days are over.
Well, I want to have one someday again, and or even a scooter. For example, Camilla and I talk about going to Bali, where we met, and in Bali, like it's so much easier and faster to get around on a scooter. And it actually kind of frightens me now because when I was in Bali, it was before the accident, of course, and I'd be on a scooter with a, you know, just a little mask in like little teeny surf shorts, wearing flip flops, like everyone else there, going like 60 down sketchy ass roads with like potholes and like people right beside you, and sometimes like it'd be pouring rain, going 60, like just kind of like opening and peering through. Like I was so unsafe, and I now think about it, and
Crazy,
it's amazing how close you acclimate. Like when I first got there, I was like, I'll never do that. These people are insane. And then a month later, I'm like, whee! And I was even driving down the road with like 12 durians between my legs on the scooter. So if I would have fell, I would have just been durian mess, you know? Like I did that at least once a week. I'd just get like 10 durians. It was so sketchy.
But yeah, like you said, everybody's rolling like that, and you're just, you know, you think a scooter, you're just going to hop on real quick. But yeah, there's trucks and all kinds of. I know that the driving, they're not as and durians, durians
everywhere.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's nutty.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. How about Camilla? Does she want to?
No, she's not really a friend of motorcycles anymore, and you know, I mean. It was like one of her first times ever being on one, so she feels a little like ripped off, you know, like I've never been on one, and this happens, right? Like it is very, very, very unfortunate, but
yeah, it's so tricky, man. Like I grew up riding. My dad, you know, built bikes, and you know, I grew up on the back of his bike and dirt bike my whole life, and you know, then I had a street bike. I ended up selling it, but I know sometimes I think like it'd be kind of cool to ride again, but. You know, it is like you're definitely taking some chances. Every time I go out, even in my truck with 2.25 million people in Vegas, I'm like, wow, I'm really taking a chance just going to the grocery store, you know, because how many people get in accidents? And on bikes, it's crazy. I see people like they're, you know, cutting traffic, weaving, you know, on the freeway, and I'm like, man, just like I hope that guy makes it safe, you know, because some of them are really like there's some real idiots, you know, on bikes for sure.
And the thing is, like, I mean, you start to have this illusion of safety until something like this happens, or it happens to someone in your family, and you know, this illusion of invincibility, and it is really fun. Like when you're on a motorcycle and you're weaving, like it is fun, and like getting a little rush when you pass someone. I mean, it's lame to be fun, but it is fun, you know. So it is addicting, and but it is scary statistics. Like I don't remember if it's like 1 in 2 or 1 in 3, but it's like a really big statistic of people who have a motorcycle, they get in accidents, you know? So, and it's not always you, right? Like in my example, like it wasn't our fault. It was just somebody didn't see us. And that's usually how it happens.
Yeah. That's usually how it is. Yeah. Wow. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. I know somebody who, she was a belly dancer for her. That was her passion. Her passion was belly dancing. And she was also into biking, and she was in an accident and is now paralyzed neck down.
Wow.
And she can't dance, like she can't do, she can't do anything. And it's like, ooh.
It's so crazy. Yeah, we're so blessed, you know, like, I mean, I feel so blessed to be able to still skateboard and at a good level, feeling good on my board. And we both have our legs, you know, I mean, the doctor's report literally said mutilated left legs, and, you know, there wasn't guarantee of anything, you know, so, in the big picture,
blessed beyond measure.
You guys are so fortunate, definitely from what you went through. And then of course, I mean, on the positive side of things, like that traumatic experience that you guys got to both go through, and you know, I remember you guys like in the beds, you know, and gosh, man, you know, like
we spent more time together than most, and close together during sometimes you don't want to be sometimes, but it's been amazing. I wouldn't trade it, except for, again, Camilla's pain. And I really just hope with this next surgery that takes that down to a way lower level. But man, it's crazy. And we were like, I mean, it was just nuts too, because we were supposed to be going to the Canada Fruit Fest like a week later, you know, like, you know, and then UK and Woodstock, like all these festivals, and she was about to travel home, but you know, the universe had something different in store for us, right? So
the universe knows exactly where to put you, when, what lessons to give you, even though it's hard. You look back and you're like, I needed that.
And now I can teach people more about it, and it's a good example of like, because people wonder, like, can you build muscle, or can you recover from injuries? And it's like, of course you can. And in fact, you recover better as long as you're doing the lifestyle correctly. Like my rehab specialists and my doctor we're all like amazed, and like doing all the tests from like improving the body mass index and checking out my VO2 max, which I'm not an endurance athlete, but he was like, you're on like the upper echelon of what we ever see in here, and without even trying to, right? So like, it's obviously don't want to be like, oh, it makes you superhuman, but it definitely helps a hell of a lot, you know, like
100%.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that, because I know a lot of people, they feel like if you are a raw vegan, you are superhuman, you're immune to everything, you are never gonna age, you're never gonna, your body's never gonna change and all that stuff. And it's like, no, it's just a really healthy way to live. You're giving your body everything that it needs to do whatever it needs to do.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's sad when people see someone, maybe if there is a raw vegan that gets sick or something, and they're like, oh, see, it doesn't work, but it's not. It's like, it's just going to help them through that more than if they didn't.
Yeah, and rebuilding, like you're saying, too. Wow.
And they wouldn't, like, if someone's on standard diet and, they get sick, most people don't go like, oh, well, you better lay off your cheeseburgers, like, when you're on a raw food path, they're like, oh, like, there you go. Like, people are just looking for excuses for us to fail because they don't want to accept that this is a really viable and even like ethically sound and amazing way, right? I mean, World Vegan Day, we gotta promote those animals and promote with some pride here. How awesome it is to live this lifestyle. But it is really really kind of crazy the mainstream kind of view on that, and it's just good to bust those myths.
Definitely.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, World Vegan Day. World Vegan Day, all about the animals and the planet and celebrating that. So, it's such a great day. The sun's coming up over the mountains just now.
The sun's just rising here. What time is it there for you, Chris?
It's 3:30, so it's just looking pretty mellow outside. It's kind of like, it's Camilla has a word for it, but it's like no sky day. Like, it's just like completely white. You don't see a sun or anything there.
I see. Right.
No sky day. Cute.
Yeah, just a no sky day going on here today. And it's getting dark earlier now, like 5 o'clock. It's dark already now.
Right.
Yeah, we're moving into that stage.
The days are getting shorter. That's right.
Yeah. I'm excited for it, though, I tell you. Like, it's funny, like, when I first got into raw food, I was like, I just need to be in the tropics all year round, and I want to be here and there. And like, now, honestly, like, I love having seasons and, that moment to kind of cool down a little bit, like some expansive, some a little bit contractive. And, I think it makes me appreciate all the things that I do and all the different varieties of, weather and foods and all that stuff even more.
That's a good point.
You guys are lucky there. Here in the desert, it's still it's like 80 degrees or whatever.
We're like, oh yeah, this is great. No, I like the seasons too.
Less air
conditioning. I also like it here.
Yeah. I miss the change of the season into autumn. Like, the fall season is so beautiful. Yeah. So here, I don't know. It's been so long since I've lived in the desert. I don't really think there's anything like that. I mean, it might be like 1 week, like kind of like Canada. Like, fall's like it lasts a week and then it's gone.
Boom, gone.
Yeah.
Yep. Or in the spring, it's like, hey, here's flowers. Now they're gone.
Yeah.
After a week.
Yeah.
You're now, Lissa, in the spot where, like, you've been there long enough that you're allowed to travel now?
I can travel. Yes, I can now go back to Canada. I mean, depending on world events, but technically, if that wasn't a thing, then I could totally go back to Canada. I could go anywhere. I've got it's what's called a conditional permanent residency. So cool. I'm a permanent resident, but it's not a full. It's kind of like when you get your driver's license, but it's like
get the training wheels on still. Yeah.
You can drive as long as you have someone with a driver's license with you. That's kind of what I have. And then this summer, I will be filing one more time with the government to prove that we are still in love.
Yeah. We've got to prove our love.
Yeah, we got to prove it.
Year after year.
Go up there and make out really good.
Exactly. Just send them a tape.
Right? It's like, go on our YouTube, you can see or whatever. But they're like, we don't want videos, we want pictures. I'm like, okay.
We got plenty of
Well,
pictures.
you guys are frisky, aren't you? Don't share that.
Right. So yeah, I got a file for that permanent residency, and it's not a big deal. Like the big deal is already over. We just have to file like you have to prove that you paid your taxes, which we're working on right now. We're almost done. And then like bills in our names and more pictures and whatever else. So
just to prove that we are legit together.
Yeah. And then I get my permanent residency, so then I can go anywhere. I'm not a citizen, so I can't like vote or anything. But other than that, I'm.
How long does that take?
Huh?
How long does that take? Oh wow! Oh my God! Oh my! You just turned into an American right there. You said, huh? You just, huh? You just Americaned it.
Right?
Huh? You did, huh?
Yeah, you did, huh? Yeah. You know, you like it really is. It's like almost replacing the A to the huh. You know, like we get made fun of for our A's, but it's that huh is the same thing.
It is.
Because you guys say, or there's different ones.
Different places.
A. I always say hey.
Yeah, I always did hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's
hey.
crazy, hey.
Yeah.
And people are like, you from Canada? I'm like, no, my wife's from Canada, but hey sounds like a little bit more like enthusiastic or energetic than huh, because it's got that upward deflection as opposed to
hey.
Pretty crazy, huh?
Because the huh sometimes it makes you want to tilt your head like huh.
Yeah.
You know, like
Crazy, huh? It's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, that was good. That was perfect.
Oh,
I'm too lazy for the H, so I just blurred out the A.
Hey.
Yeah. That's crazy, eh?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, eh? I love that. I can't help
it. Always reminds me of Strange Brew, that
Yes.
old movie with Rick Moranis, Strange Brew.
Yeah.
Take off, you hoser.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
I do feel like my accent has changed, though.
100%.
I watched. So I was on the news, CTV News in Edmonton, like I don't know, 5 years ago now, and it came up in my memories in Facebook. So I was like, "Ooh, I remember this." And I went to watch it, and I was like, "I sounded like."
Like, am I watching South Park right now? What's happening?
Yeah, right, totally. I was like, damn, I really have changed my accent.
Yeah.
But
by accident.
It's us doing the country accent all the time.
Huh?
I said it's us doing the country accent all the time.
Yes.
Like, that's crazy. I'm going to tell you what. That's just straight crazy.
How long do you think it would take of you working at that until that would just become normal and you couldn't stop? Because like people do that. They move to like, you know, Australia or London and they didn't have that before and all of a sudden they're like full on, you know?
Right.
I think I morph into accents pretty quickly.
Or like who you're around.
And who you're around too.
I do too.
Yeah.
Like if somebody does something like a little mannerism and you're like, oh, that's cool that they do that. And then you just kind of start doing it too.
Yeah. Well, sincerest form of flattery, right? I mean, I do the same thing, but sometimes I feel a little bad. Like when I'm talking to someone, say, who has like broken English, and then I start like having really bad broken English and like talking like in like 3-word like weird phrases, then sometimes I'm like, I think like maybe I'm going too far. But I do that. It's weird.
Right? I know when you're around it a lot, it's I think that's just how we are. We just kind of morph collectively based on what's going around.
I would like to go to Australia so I could get that one solidified, because when I try an Australian accent, I always get the English and like maybe some New Zealand, you know, in there. People are like, that's definitely not Australian. I'm like, really? Like,
come on, mate, you got it.
Come on, mate. Yeah,
no,
or you know, definitely the you know, like Tom from the Woodstock. You know, he's got such a really strong, you know, English accent.
Yeah,
this is really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's a fun one. I would like to get better at doing accents and impersonations, but that's a tough thing, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
It is.
Yeah, it's not like you're trying to make fun of anybody. You're just, it's fun to try to talk a little differently.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we admire those things in those people, right? And that's why we do.
And if you know the person, you might try and make fun of them a little bit, you know?
True.
You know.
Of course.
Yeah.
don't want to just blanket make fun of people, but like individuals, like that's a sign of affection sometimes.
Affection, totally.
Totally. It is, right?
Can be.
All in fun, all in fun.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you so much for helping with this bundle. Oh man, the bundle.
It's been crazy, right? It's been it's been a lot. It's been a lot, but it's been so awesome to see it spread out. And I mean, I don't think either of us could have really done it without each other. At least I know I definitely couldn't have done it without you. Absolutely.
Me neither.
And we couldn't have done it without everyone. It's like
totally.
Exactly.
Yeah,
such a beautiful team effort.
Everybody. I mean, as a a contributor, I'm thinking like, what better, tell Melissa, like, what better person to have this, to be a part of this than Chris. Like, man, you guys are just such a power couple when it comes to running this thing. This is amazing. And yeah, like you said, it takes everybody, all the contributors. And then of course, thanks to all the people who, have seen the value in it. And it's really awesome to see the comments like, wow, I was kind of a little hesitant to get it. Now I've got it. And I'm like, seeing all the stuff that's in it, this is just beyond what I could picture what would be in something. So, man.
And everybody gave such a beautiful ebook. Like, huge, the creativity was just mind-blowing.
We don't got no pamphlets in here. We ain't accepting pamphlets.
No pamphlets.
Like, bring on the goods, guys. You ain't getting away with a pamphlet.
You'll get 50 pamphlets.
With a sales pitch at the end for a bigger one,
Yeah, exactly. I know, and these ebooks are all just value for the people, and like over 1,000 recipes. Seriously,
I don't know how many years. Did you guys add up? I've been saying like it's got to be close to like 175 years of compiled.
Oh God, there's got to be more. There's got to be so much more. Because I mean, if you even just think like between
Jesse,
Doug and Jesse and Karen and Peter and Louise and myself, like right there there's 150 years,
so over 200 years worth of experience compiled.
I counted up the live panel. Sorry to interrupt. So the live panel was over 165 years, and that's just like 6 of us, right? So
wow,
there's 7 of us.
Yeah,
I think there was 7.
That's really
incredible.
It's neat to have that at your fingertips to pull from. The different information to pull from. I mean, gosh, there's going to be something for everybody, no matter what. It's nice to have. It's nice to have that. Everybody's, we're all constantly learning from one another. I feel like a little baby, I'm in 5 years, but 5 years is pretty amazing. Like considering, it's tricky for people to even do 1 month of raw, just raw. So
it's tricky for people to eat broccoli and to eat a banana sometimes. They have a hard time just doing that once,
Yeah, right. I know, right? I remember those days too. I was like, no, this is not happening.
Right.
But what better day to grab the bundle and start a vegan lifestyle even, right? Because today's World Vegan Day, just like my cousin last year, he went vegan today, and he lost almost 100 pounds.
Well, he didn't lose it.
It left him.
Where is it? Damn it. Find it. Can you find it? We can help.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he is a real inspiration. And he was someone who would kind of poke fun at you. And which he did apologize, a real sincere apology. You Canadians are so sincere with your apologies. But he, man, to see what he did is just amazing. All the weight, the excess weight that's just like melting off of him. And he's not, 100% raw. Like, he's I feel like he's high raw.
He said he was like 70 to 80% raw.
Yeah, so that's, I guess that's pretty much, that's raw.
Yeah,
that's raw.
Technically.
I'd give him that badge. I'd be like, dude, claim
it. Totally. I know. And then there's no like, you have to be 100%. If you want to be 100%, be 100%. But I always say, like, don't do it out of fear because you're scared of cooked food or you're scared you're not going to heal. Like, when you're doing it from that space, it's going to be a challenge, a really big challenge. But when you do it because you love it and you want to add more raw and you just enjoy the recipes, it becomes a joy.
Yeah.
1,000%. I've met people who are, strict 100% raw, but we're coming from a place of scarcity or coming from a place of fear or coming from a place of judgment on themselves or others. And and they weren't exhibiting great levels of health, you know, and then I've met others who are high raw, or even are like, you know, like medium raw, you know, like just eating like half their meals raw and doing.
Would that be medium rare?
Medium, they're medium rare, medium raw. They're medium raw. It's a new thing, medium raw. I'm medium raw.
But yeah, like you're saying though, too, they are showing more because of the. I mean, it's amazing, like just how powerful our minds are, and yeah, like you know, not coming from a space of fear, like you're saying, but more of a space of love.
To give Jesse a plug, it is the whole lifestyle, right? It's like it really is the whole lifestyle, and like we were talking about before, like you know, genetics come into a play, and sleep comes into a play, and stress comes into a play, and hydration comes into a play, and sun exposure comes into a play, and you know, like all these things come into a play, and we can't be expected to be you know, like Adonis, invulnerable like individuals, no matter what. As soon as you go raw, like bing, like ding, right? Like that's not the reality. But it sure dang well helps a lot and helps us express our genetics as high as we possibly can, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, that comes to that point that we were talking about earlier, is the perfectionism and people expecting raw to do that. Because I've even had people say, if like, because I was married, my ex was an amputee, and I had people actually tell me that he could regrow his legs. Yeah. And I'm like, really?
It's supposed to be possible. It's actually, but it's limited by our vitality. And that's like, you know, like technically we're supposed to be able to, but we don't have that much vitality to be able to do it. At least that's what I've been told. Yeah. And maybe I'm wrong, but that's what Doug Graham, he teaches that, you know, but yeah, we're pretty hard pressed. And, you know, unless we, do super cold pressed juice every day, all day, and that's all we do, we're not going to make it. No, I'm just joking. Oh,
no, yeah, I know. I was like, whoa, no.
You know, it's interesting though. Like that.
See how convincing it can be.
Yeah.
See how convincing it can be. Anyone can say it, and people will be like, "That makes sense," right?
Yeah. Well, that's, you know, that's one of the beautiful things about this bundle, and something that I'm, you know, just like really tickled pink to be a part of it too. Is just like so many people that are, you know, coming forward with a very similar message, you know, because it works, you know, like from people that have been doing this for a long period of time to people that are newer, but all with a similar backbone of a low-fat, raw vegan approach that is really based in whole foods. You know, like that's the basis of it, right? And there's little bits of nuance here and there and little teeny differences, which that makes the spice of life. That makes it really fun and, you know, allows us all to find our little pocket where we feel the absolute best. But, you know, it's like, if you're looking to live healthier, then it's good to have a sound game plan that many people have walked before and get great results repetitively from. And, you know, with World Vegan Day, like, you know, I've never seen an issue where veganism can't be the solution. And when you have a really good sound plan and you have really good connections of people who have succeeded and who have helped people succeed where others have failed, then like, we have all these connections now, right? Like even within the holiday book, you have the direct connection to all the people that contributed in all the books, and you can look them up and you can talk to them, and everyone has their own story that they've helped heal others from and healed themselves from. So it's just like beyond the books is an incredible resource of people to grow this community and to help everyone else just learn how to thrive, you know?
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's interesting too, because there's sometimes it takes us hearing someone else's story for us to really like be like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. And I know we had done an interview with someone who purchased the bundle, the last bundle, the raw bundle, and you know she reversed like an autoimmune disease, and you know her son, they started to eat more, like you know feeding more healthy foods to their son. Son doesn't have asthma anymore, you know, these kinds of things. And then someone had commented like, okay, that's it, I'm getting it. Like this is what I needed. And you know, it's the stories are powerful.
Yeah, it's so crazy because, like, you know, like the longer and longer you're in this, the more and more of that you see. And I never want to get numb to that, you know, because like it becomes so normal. It's just like, yeah, of course, you know, but to a lot of people, they just can't believe it. And the reality is it is normal to come back into homeostasis, to come back to the highest levels of health your genetics can express due to, again, there's other factors. There are things, it's not everything is curable. But, you know, you have the absolute best chance with the raw food diet. And I've seen, like, miracles, like crazy, you know, like stage 5 brain cancers and, you know, like MS and, like, diabetes and, like, like things reversed that people never think they reverse, you know?
Yeah. because of the fact that most people don't change what they're eating. So that's why they think it's just the kind of the consensus that, oh yeah, well, this is just how it is. You know, I'll be with this for the rest of my life. I'll be on these medications for the rest of my life. But it is interesting. I love how Nikola Tesla said, if you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So what kind of energy are we putting in every single day, 3, 4, 5 times a day? What kind of frequency is that food holding? And it's just incredible how it just is paramount with what we are eating every single day, with how we're going to feel and what because I used to have asthma too. I had asthma my whole life. And I would have seasonal allergies. I would get sick at least twice a year when the change of the seasons. And, one of them maybe be like a pretty good flu where you're vomiting and you just feel like, cut off my head. I don't want to have
worst feeling ever, hey?
Yeah, horrible.
I'm such a cis, and that's not a nice word. Sorry. I'm very, how do you even say this properly now these days? I don't know. I'm not very tough. I'm not very tough.
Oh, yeah.
I'm digging myself into a hole. I'm not very tough in the sense that, I so don't like being sick that when I am sick, I do actually feel like that. Just kill me, just kill me, And I mean, I haven't really been sick for over 21 years now. And although I have, when I was at the Canadian Fruit Festival, I ate a melon.
Yeah,
I
remember that.
And for a good 2.5 hours, I was going everywhere with everything. And I was in that mode of just finish me now.
Just finish me. I remember that.
Luckily,
which was supposedly, like you were saying, was the best melon that you had ever tasted.
It was really good. It was really good. And then we even did a video with it with John Kohler to show how sweet it was. Because we were basically showing, I can really pick out a melon. I'm like, yeah, I can. And then I almost die. But
yeah. I've never seen you like that, man. I've never seen you like that. It was horrible.
No one's seen me like that.
It was horrible.
Yeah. I was sweating from every pore of my body. And it was crazy. But I didn't really want to drone on about this, but I do think with everything going on in the world today, now is the absolute best chance and the best time to take exquisite care of yourself, to learn how to take incredible care of yourself, to learn how to take care of the animals and the planet, because, for your health, raw food diet, vegan diet, for the planet, 100%. For the future generations,
so
we are
important.
the change. It's up to us. No one's going to do it for us, and it really is up to us, and we can make a huge difference.
Oh, yes. So important. And it's really, really incredible, too, just the concept, right? It's just such a simple concept. But we complicate things so much. We're like, well, how much protein are you getting? Where are you getting your calcium? We know asking all these questions, which they're valid questions because we've been so conditioned for our whole life. And it's this is the way Mother Nature intended us to eat. We don't have to kill animals and eat the flesh and the secretions of these animals to thrive. And we look around and we see how many people are on so many medications. Some people can't breathe at night. They have to be on a machine. So it's when you go back to the way Mother Nature intended, like you're saying, the body goes into back to homeostasis. It's striving every single day, detoxifying every single day. Regenerating cells every single day. But when you are putting in that food that is designed for us, then man, it just amazes me how fast the body responds. And
then sometimes too, you do respond fast, and it depends on the person too, but there's people who get on it and then it takes time, but we tend to forget that it took us decades sometimes to get where we are.
20, 30,
and
40
it's not
years.
going to take a 30-day challenge. I mean, obviously you're going to feel better because you're not eating other stuff. And especially if you're eating enough, because I'm sure you can attest to this, but so many people who struggle message me and they're like, I still can't, I have these symptoms, I don't know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And when we enter everything into Chronometer, they're only eating 800 to 1200 calories a day because they're intuitive eating and they're trying and they don't know what to eat. So that's causing problems that could be alleviated with food.
That's another cool thing about the bundle too, is everything has been, you guys have searched through everybody's stuff with a fine-tooth comb to make sure it is having congruent.
An appropriate message.
It's congruent,
abundance oriented.
So, being oil-free and us being a water-based machine, these are just avatars our souls get to drive, and yeah, you know, oil doesn't belong in the water-based machine. Oil and water doesn't mix. So it's really nice. Everything's oil-free, because a lot of times in the raw food world, not necessarily our little raw food world, but in the big raw food world, like it's inundated with oil, like so much oil.
But healthy oil, but healthy oil. But healthy.
Yeah, the healthy oil.
Yeah.
I just love that, right? It's like it perfectly fits the definition of junk food. You know, it's like calories with no other nutrients. You know, like
totally.
It's
I know, it's
funny,
really
right?
interesting.
But,
it's so interesting, and you're extracting all the fiber. There's no fiber, and who's really using 1 tablespoon of oil? Let's be honest.
No. Yeah.
There's a lot of work to be done. I mean, definitely World Vegan Day. This is amazing. It's a great day to end the bundle on. But there is a lot of work to be done. There's, you know, there's like we get into the, you know, there was like a breath work retreat here local, and they help people, you know, overcome certain addictions. And I feel like it was a 90 days, 60 and a 90-day retreat. And what they do is they're plant focused, but their main source of building the gut microbiome would be bone broth. And it's like, wow, you know, it's just interesting, because when you really start to dig in with an open mind, you can see the studies that are being suppressed on how this is not necessarily beneficial to us. But it's really interesting how there's just so much. There's just so much educating, and not like, you know, here we are like this, you know, amazing educators, but at the same time, like, it just doesn't match up when you start to actually look at who's funding the studies that are showing that these kinds of things are healthy. Like, you know, it's the very industries that want to, they need a place for these bones to go. Let's cook them up and make some soup out of the bones.
I often like to think too, like, you know, the majority of the people that went vegan, at some point they weren't. You know, the vast majority. At some point they weren't. And at some point they're also highly resistant to it and didn't want to go that way. You know, like, I'll be blatantly honest. Yeah, I'll be blatantly honest. If fast food and animal products were healthy and ethical and didn't cause death, I'd probably still eat them, you know? But I can't stand behind it when they kill us, they kill the planet. And of course, they're harming animals. There is no ethical slaughter, you know, it just makes no sense, right? And I totally can empathize, and I can totally understand if you come from a perspective that you need it to thrive. I understand why ethics is out of the question. Like, if you genuinely need an animal products to thrive as a human being, then there is no ethics to eating animals. But, you know, it's not the case. And when you actually flip the script and you fully understand that there is absolutely zero need, then it's kind of scary where perspective can go. Like when I hear bone broth, like, my first thought is like looking at science fiction when you have, like, you know, depictions of giant ogres with people in stew pots stirring them up, and everyone looks at them and thinks they're disgusting and like, you gross ogre, you're cruel and inhumane, and like, but to me it's the same thing. I don't want carcasses, and
they needed some help, right? Like a chef. And I was like, hey, I can help you guys if you guys need help, but I want to let you know I'm raw vegan, right? Oil free. And they're like, oh, well, we use bone broth. That's like one of our main things to help rebuild the gut. And I didn't want to get into it with them, but I was just thinking, like, that has got to be like the absolute worst thing to build your gut microbiome. Come on now.
Fiber and variety.
So, you know, it's just interesting though, because we can, like you're saying, we can get so stuck in some certain way. And then she was like trying to defend herself, and I was like, hey, you know, it's all good. You guys are doing your thing, but I thought, like, man, you know, this could definitely turn into, like, you know, how is this really assisting people, you know, in the long run? When really, you know, we should go back to eating from nature. But it is interesting too how there's the indigenous cultures that you know, they needed to have, you know, certain calories and things in their diet to survive. And I know there's still certain areas on the planet that still, you know, they're eating 80 to 100 grams of fiber every single day. So, you know, their little tiny, you know, their tiny little bit of, you know, kangaroo or rabbit or wherever they are, it's just so different than here where, you're inundated. And here we are in Vegas. It's pretty wild. You drive down the street and it's just no wonder that people think it's normal. It's just normal. Like with the bone broth, like you're saying, the big ogre, people just they're like, I remember at work at the hospital, people were like, oh, I just love my bone broth. And I was raw at the time, and I'm just like,
yeah. It's just amazing the disconnect, right?
Yeah, it is. And I feel like a lot of people want to go back to what our ancestors were doing, but our ancestors did everything out of a state of survival. Some of them did better than others, depending on what they ate, so we can learn from them. But I think that a lot of the bone broth started because as the colder months came in, that's all they had. So they would boil them because it was like, what else do we eat?
Use every single bit.
Yeah, every single bit and use it all. But we're not in those times anymore, and we need to move forward. And we have all the science, and we have new ways of doing it. And we're intelligent human beings, right? As a whole, we are smart. We can change. And we just have these disconnects. And, you know, like there's stuff out there that's really convincing. And some people are so convinced by other science that's out there, and they believe it so much that they can't even see it from another perspective, or they have and they've gone back, or it's a tough world to live in when we don't really know the truth until you learn the truth, and it resonates with your ethics. When it resonates with your ethics, there's no way. Like I'll never ever.
Like you think of a child of course is going to go for all those colorful fruits and, you know, and the vegetables. Just naturally, just the colors, and that's why we're packaging all these foods into these bright color packages.
Putting fruit on them on the packages. And
and you know, I remember, you know, my first fish that I caught. Right then, man, I would have been vegan for sure. Never did I ever think, you know, in my later years that I would ever be a vegan. Like, you know, that's just so weird.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
You know, at that time, 7 years old, when I caught that fish, I was just horrified that I killed this fish. I caught it, and it was still alive, and I felt bad because it was bleeding after taking the hook out. And then my grandpa's like, let's go clean the fish. You know, and I was like, what, clean it? Like, we're going to give it a bath or something? Like, it's in water, you know, like it's already clean. And then when I saw him gut it, man, I just lost it. And it took like the rest of the evening was basically dedicated on conditioning me to, this is what men do. This is the circle of life. You know, fish they can't feel it, you know, all these kinds of things. And it's like, man, you know, if I would have had like an open-minded vegetarian or vegan mom or auntie or something who stood up for me, I would have been vegan right then, 7 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's what they say too. Like, if it doesn't happen before the age of 7, you're less likely to ever embrace that viewpoint. You know, like that's why often kids are brought to hunt at early ages and told this is what is, and eventually they get the taste for it. But it goes so far against our natural instincts. You know, like I mean, sure, in the bonobo, bonobos, the closest genetic cousin to us, they do have some animal products, but in the absolute most case scenarios, either insects, you know, which either might be connected to the food they're eating, or maybe they might find some termites and eat some termites, or otherwise it's when they're actually warring over fruit trees. Like they'll kill each other, and then if they kill someone, then they eat it, right? But it's, you know, with everything we know, it's just like, one, we don't need it, and two, you know, I always think like, if we want to build a new earth and we actually want to create consciously a new way of living, a new planet, like an Eden in front of us, well, it takes looking forward from where we are now rather than looking back and thinking, oh, we better do what they did, because people so over glamorize, you know, like the past, you know, like they think like, oh, we were just like, even raw foodists, you know, like even raw foodists, they think like, oh, we're in this like beautiful fruit jungle, and like I'm just eating the fruit from the trees, and like, oh, this grocery store food just isn't good. And it's like, man, think about it. Like, it's not like that. Have you been in the jungle? Like, when you're in the jungle, you don't find fruit trees forever. And when you do, half of them are unripe and they're rotting on the ground. And like, you're eating bark and you're eating stuff you don't know, and you're starving. And that's the only reason we survived. And we're back in the garden, guys. We're back in the garden. You know, it's
we really are. And we have so much access to variety, because if you think about it too, even though we're close to other primates genetically, we are also our own species. We have our own gut microbiome. We're the only species that studies itself.
Yeah.
Our brain named itself.
Yeah.
Like, we are very different from other species.
Yeah.
And yes, we are genetically close to them, but we are so different in the same breath. So we need that variety to feed our gut microbiome that we've grown symbiotically with, right? And we have to study ourselves and improve on what we know from the past and move forward, like you say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
they
there was
give
this
us
one...
good indicators, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There was this one time we were camping, and my friend's kid was, you know, in the hammock with me, and I'm vegan at the time. I wasn't actually, no, that was the summer, my very first summer being raw, and we were watching these squirrels run like and jump branches, and he was like, "Oh, if I had my gun," and I was like, I was, you know, it was perfect storytelling time. So I was like, I'm like, why wouldn't you want to shoot that guy? You know, I'm like, he's so excited to get home. I bet his mom's calling him home, because that's why we came up from the river, you know, because dinner was almost ready. And I'm like, here, we'll chill in the hammock. And I'm like, I'm not eating any of the cooked stuff, so I'll chill in the hammock. You know, my stuff's super easy. I'm just having like I think I had like a melon that night or something. But I was starting to tell him the story of like, you know, that guy, him and his buddy just got done swimming, and they're all super excited to get home because their mom called them. It's dinner time. And then here you come along and shoot him. Like, and his mom's going to be so scared because he's not going to know where he's at. And what would you do with that squirrel? Would you eat him? Like, you know, and I'm like, it's one of God's creations. It's not our place to kill God's creations like that. Right. And, really trying to lay it on thick with this. And, you know, we were down the fire, and, you know, his dad's like super avid hunter, even still pokes fun at me and whatnot. And, you know, there's certain aspects that I can respect, that he's wanting to be able to be like the warrior and, you know, provide, you know, healthy meat for his family for the winter time. But even though they're still hitting up Taco Bell and Outback Steakhouse and stuff, but his son was sitting around the campfire when his dad started talking about hunting. He's all, you know, Dad, that's not right. We shouldn't be killing God's creations. And then, you know, oh man, I was like, what did I just do? Yeah. But hopefully I planted a seed right there, you know. Hopefully he doesn't. I know that his, you know, it was his stepdad and his real dad. So both his stepdad and real dad are like avid hunters. So it might be really hard for him to get out of that mindset. Maybe he won't throughout his lifetime come out of that mindset, because there are some people that are, I mean, the hunting community, they say like, well, we hunt and this is what protects the animals. Like we're, you know, we're helping the animal population by hunting. And, you know, it's really just an incredible aspect of thinking. Like, how is that possible? How do you, you know, how does that work?
There's
it's
a way
big
to
subject.
rewild.
I've looked into it. Yeah, like rewilding. There is some sense to it, but it doesn't have to be that way, you know. And it's like, it's a crazy situation, you know. It really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
we can rewild the earth without eating them.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
Like they'll fight. And I feel like in back in the day, you know, when we were trying to figure stuff out thousands of years ago, we would look to nature and be like, okay, they're eating that. Oh, they're eating each other. Like, oh, maybe we should do that too. Or, you know, who knows what.
I want to be strong like a lion, so I better eat this. Or I want to be exhibit those qualities, right?
Right.
And then they even kill those animals and wear their furs to imbue that energy onto them, right? So I mean, and you know, like you said earlier too, like, you know, culturally and in history and stuff, it's been necessary. But here we are now, and it is kind of amazing. Like, people will come onto vegan forums or other things and have like, you know, their iPhone, and they're in a modern city, and then they'll be like, yeah, but this obscure tribe over here does this, and it's like, dude, you're on a phone in the middle of a city and you have limitless choice. That's not really a good argument, you know?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I know we're not trying to make those cultures go vegan. We're trying to make all the people, the other 97% of North America who is buying junk food and eating, you know, making those choices. Like, we have the power too. I did a little research on who buys the most junk food, and ironically enough, it's not the poor people, it's the rich people who are buying a lot of the junk food. And because they're buying a lot of the junk food, it makes it cheap for the poor people to buy. So if the rich people could start making better choices and put their dollar towards fruits and vegetables and healthy foods, that'll naturally drive the price down. So the people who are less fortunate are more able to get that. I mean, that's just one angle on it. But
there's a long ways to go. I mean, well, you can get a pizza for $5 to feed your family dinner, or you can get a bag of grapes for 12.
I know,
that's not going to feed your family. It's really, I know we've got a long ways to go in so many aspects.
Yeah,
you got to find those sweet spots, right, where you can get really good deals and buy in bulk. If you can't find them, then call distributors, just like Christina did, right? Flora Christina, she just started a co-op, right, and that blossomed and grew, right, and like there's always opportunity out there. And I mean, there are people. It's really cool. There are people that are lawyers and raising information and raising court cases and stuff to try to shift subsidies from animal-based subsidies towards, like plant-based subsidies, because I mean, people don't realize, but like the Happy Meal, it's not really Happy Meal at $5. It's like Happy Meal at $45 and way more water, and there's so many government subsidies for these foods, and people don't recognize that they're subsidizing these industries that then also fall into the pharmacological and the surgery industries, which are also like this big triangle of subsidies and money. And a lot of people don't want to give up that money. But as people wake up and as more people come aware and more people start to fulfill those roles and the roles they're here to fulfill, it's going to shift. And we'll see a time when
I believe it.
It will shift.
Yeah, there's vegetable and fruit subsidies. Imagine mango subsidies where it's like, you just go get a case of mangoes for $1 because they're subsidized because that's healthy, and that keeps our people healthier, stronger, more immune, smarter, like helps the world. Like we're going that way.
There's a lot of shifting to be done. Because we are just so, it's such a monetary based society, not a health based society. It's really, we have a lot of work to do. My gosh.
There's a really good book for people who are interested in learning a little bit more about the subsidies and how much things actually cost, because everything is in our taxes, right? We pay taxes, and that money goes to subsidize the meat, dairy, drug industries, all that. But the book is called Metanomics, and it's a deep book. Like you open it, you're like, woo! I don't know, because the words are really small, but it goes into detail about how much it actually costs. Like a gallon of milk is like something crazy, like. I mean, by now with inflation, it's probably like $30. But like you said, it's subsidized. So in the grocery store, it's cheap, but the government is actually paying more for it for us. We're actually paying for it anyways through our taxes. So
I think it's great too with what has happened with the turn of events in the world, because we needed this. We needed something like this dramatic for people to really start to kind of like, start to question more, right? When they start to question, you start on a quest. And you start searching, for what is real, what do we really need? We need health. Like you can't even hashtag natural immunity. You can't even hashtag natural immunity. So, it really, for people who aren't like just, maybe just lifting off the glasses or peeking through the curtain a little bit, it would make perfect sense that there's definitely a war on our health and the mind of mankind in so many ways.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, there's been some people even in the bundle that have had accounts frozen and other stuff like that. It's crazy. It is pretty crazy. But but we all just got to do what we do, right? Like we all share what we're passionate about, and that's the beautiful thing too. Like I think a lot of people have this misconception that like as a raw foodist you have to be a raw vegan entrepreneur, and I mean that's awesome. We're promoting that. We're promoting that in the bundle with Ted's course, so you can learn how to do that. But there's also tons and tons of other raw foodists and vegans out there that just have, normal jobs that are also facilitating growth in so many different directions. And we need everyone. Like, we need everyone, so it's just all together, really.
All together. Yay! I love it. I love it. Thank you, Chris. On that note, we should probably sign off.
Are we at the top of the hour? Wow, we're already at the top of the hour. Holy cow.
No, like we can talk to you forever.
Yeah, well, we'll have to talk more and maybe do some more lives, and hopefully we'll see each other in the 3D again in not too long, and maybe next time Camilla will be with me too. But so much love to you both and so much appreciation. This is so amazing.
Love you too.
Give Camilla a big hug and kiss for us, and man, definitely we'll have to connect again soon. I know we got to keep the momentum going.
Yeah.
And I don't think that actually you and I have gone live since the last bundle, so we'll have to try to remedy that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. We all got to
that.
go live. We saw a whole bunch of people in the comments saying, I'm really going to miss the lives. I'm going to miss the lives.
We got to keep them going.
Yeah, but
You know,
we will be back.
And that is one thing to actually I wanted to mention. It'd be good if we keep, you know, because I know after the bundle, you know, officially is over, the main bundle page changes, right? But it'd be good to keep the lives page up if we can, so they can still access it, because then they can still click the links, and because most people are going to keep those lives on their IGTV, and then you can just go back and look for those posts and watch them afterwards. Because 240 lives, I can understand. Not many people probably watch all of them.
I mean,
I know. Oh my gosh.
I've been like really enjoying, like, if I drive to go grab groceries, like I was telling you the other day, I was just sitting in traffic. And I was like glad to be sitting in traffic because I was just so immersed in the conversation you were having with Damien and Fabio. And,
that was a fun one.
Oh man, it was such a great conversation. It was a great topic. And yeah, I know there is so many. Like, I'm like, oh, I know, I can feel what other people are feeling too. Because I'm like, there's like so many to go that I want to watch at the same time. And then I'm going live too. And I'm like, shoot, like I really want to see them. But yeah, you can, like you're saying, you can always go back. Everybody has them up. You can't watch them all at once.
Yeah, but we are going to be back next year in 2022 with another bundle. So we'll be doing this all over again next year.
All new content.
Yep. So
and some special stuff that maybe, you know, you guys have to wait and see, but it's But this one first, you guys, this one isn't going to be repeated. So.
Totally.
So if you guys like the bundle the way it is, click the link in any of our bios and grab it, because it's less than 24 hours. It's going to be gone. Midnight tonight Pacific
gone forever.
time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that collaboration
no reboots, right? No reboots.
Yeah, no
reboots. And we're not extending it.
Yeah.
We're not extending it.
No extensions.
It's tonight at midnight, and that's that. It's done.
That is it. Yeah, definitely. Thank all you guys for coming in and checking this out and being here with us.
People are loving it.
Cannot believe the amount of content for just $50.
Oh gosh. Even if you only, I was telling people, even if you only use like 3 or 4 of the books, you still got your money's worth. My gosh. I've spent thousands.
I don't feel bad being a salesman on this because I know how much it can help people. Like, you know, truthfully, like when I worked in sales at one point. And I only could sell the stuff that I felt good about and I liked. And when I liked it, I could sell the hell out of it. I could, you know? And that's the reality with this. Like, somebody wrote to me today and they said, you know, I'm not getting paid until later this week. I want to buy the bundle, but I can't get it till next Sunday. You know, I'll pay $65 for it till like next Sunday. And I said, you know what? I'm really sorry, but what I would encourage you to do is just make it happen. Like, you can literally, you can talk to a friend, you can talk to a family member, you can sell something.
$50. I know it's $50.
Yeah.
$50. You can come up with it if you recognize how big of potential this has for your life. And if it tickles you and it rings your intuition, you know that it's something that could help you, which I guarantee you it will if you're interested in veganism, raw food, self-help, entrepreneurship, yoga.
Oh my gosh.
It hits all those buttons. And like I told him, like, I'd feel bad to tell you anything else because we can't. Like, we're ethically sticking to this date. And if I said instead, because he's like, you know, what 3 books would you recommend? I in this moment, I can't recommend waiting and just getting 3 books when you could get all 55 for this price. Just make it happen if you think you want it. That's all I got to say, right? Like, it's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, and it'll change your life. I mean, all I used was 1 book. I bought Lissa's back in the day going raw, you know, and man, I'd almost be overwhelmed in a way. I would have to just pick one and stick with it because there's so much. Like, even now, I'm like kind of overwhelmed. I'm like, what do we want to make?
Yeah,
like,
I know.
Oh my gosh, there's all these different recipes.
I feel like that with my persimmons, my pomegranates, my oranges in the kitchen. I'm like, what do I eat?
What do I eat? We have a counter full of chocolate persimmons we have to eat today.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Somebody said something here. How many pages is the download? So there's 55 items in here, so it's less than $1 each. And I kind of guesstimate the amount of pages. Like, if you were to print out all of the ebooks, it would probably be like 6,000 or 7,000 pages worth of content. because some books are like 100 pages, some are 120. So it would be definitely 6,000 or 7,000 pages worth of content. There's over 1,000 recipes, and you're getting 50 plus books. So you could technically open one book every Sunday and go through it and use that book for the week, like make recipes and stuff. And you'd have raw books, brand new raw book every week for a
whole year.
Wow. For 50 bucks.
I was kind of thinking about doing that. I'm like, maybe I'll just dig into one person's book and then I'll just promote them throughout the week. And I can learn their style of eating and learn these new recipes. And then the next week I go to another creator because I'm so excited to have all of these as well. Like, this is incredible.
Yeah. It's so funny, right? Because you can get so used to your food, especially if you're a chef, right? But when you try on somebody else's palate, like, it can be so different, right? And you all of a sudden you're like, I never realized I love this spice, or I like this combination, or you know, I mean, there's so many talented chefs from all over the world with different, you know, different types of cuisines, and that holiday book too. I mean, I'll admit, I'm like, man, we're not selling this outside of this. This is crazy. Like, this is the only place you're getting it, right? Like, collector's edition, you know. So
and you don't need a dehydrator for all the recipes. Someone just asked if you need a dehydrator for the recipes. Some of them require a dehydrator. A dehydrator is the raw foodie's oven. So it's a really incredible piece of equipment to have. It's a great investment in a lot of ways, but you don't need, there's
so many recipes,
hundreds of recipes that don't require a dehydrator.
Absolutely. And if you're in Vegas, you can just put it on a rock outside anyway.
Just outside.
Probably you can still, like, I think it'll probably be what is Celsius? 80 degrees? Is that like 23, 28?
Yeah, probably around there.
So it's gonna be nice and warm today. That's for sure.
I've done that I was in Sedona. We went hiking, and before we started the hike, I just found a nice flat rock, and I sliced up some papaya and some bananas, and I sliced them all up nice, put them on that rock. We went hiking for 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Came back, it was like the perfect where it's like, you know, got the skin on the outside, but it's really soft and like warm inside. It was like,
so
we love sun warmed, right?
Sun warmed.
Someone's asking, are the recipes in there just healthy vegan, just maybe not raw? Actually, the entire bundle, every single recipe, over 1,000, are all raw and focused on low fat. They're all oil free as well. So not just healthy vegan, but raw vegan at that. So
there are some, like, you know, like in the holiday book, there's some like the chocolate tart. I think I can't remember if that's exactly what she called it, but you know, that, of course, you know, you're maybe, you know, considering, you know, some people might not consider that like a healthy dish, but man, it's so good.
If you're mixing fats and fruits and stuff. But aside from that, everything is raw. This is the only exclusively raw bundle, and it ends tonight. So it's done. But go to the link in either of our bios, any of our bios, and grab the bundle. Chris, thank you so much. I gotta go set up now for Chef Hugs.
Love you, brother.
You're so awesome, Chris.
Thanks so much, guys.
Cheers to all you guys.
We'll be in touch behind the scenes, right? This doesn't end now, but you guys, it does end for the bundle soon. So you know.
It. You guys go get that bundle.
Go get the bundle.
Jeanette, what up? Love all you guys. Happy World Vegan Day.
Happy World Vegan Day. Much love.
See you guys on the panel.
Ciao. Yes, panel at 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join us.
Yeah, and Nate, you should chill with us too if you want to. I mean, you don't have to.
Oh, I'd love to. Is that today?
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's today.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So it'll be another celebration.
Yes.
That's gonna be so fun.
Oh my God.
All right.
Bye,
Peace, Chris.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.